Good morning. It's 9 a.m. here in Nairobi. My name is Zinzi Kibiku with the latest stories, or rather top stories at this hour. Let's get into it. Now, the government yesterday restricted movement in and out of 4 counties, this being Nairobi, Mombasa, Kilifi and Kwale, as one of the measures in curbing the spread of coronavirus. Residents of Nairobi County and its environs, or Nairobi Metropolitan, will not be allowed to move out to other counties, with the capital city leading in the confirmed cases of COVID-19 infections so far. The restricted movement in the coastal strip kicks off on Wednesday night. Following the directive, the Matatu industry has been affected greatly, and operators in other counties will not be able to ferry passengers to the restricted areas. Let's join our correspondents from all different parts of the country. Right now, we want to link it with Wanyama. John Wanyama, he is our correspondent in Eldoret. Wanyama, it's great to see you this morning. I can see you at a Matatu terminus. Are directives being followed by the Matatu conductors in Eldoret?
A very good morning to you, Zinze. And where I'm standing now, I'm at Eldoret main stage, where on a normal day, Zinze, this stage is full of activities. But today, clearly you can see there's no much happening here. And as I can tell you, one Nairobi is a heartbeat of this particular nation, and those who are saying, they're saying Eldoret, once Nairobi is locked down, it's like everything has been locked, since that is the heartbeat of this particular nation. There are those who are supposed to be traveling to Nairobi for various reasons, going to hospital, going to look for maybe their business equipment or goods, but for now they are stranded. There are those who had traveled to Nairobi and they were supposed to come back to Eldoret, but for now they are not traveling. Zinze, the business is not as usual. Let me talk to one person here. He's also a driver, and he came all the way from Nairobi yesterday. He's in Nairobi, but he's now stranded. My brother, unaitwa nani na kupigwa marufuku kwa kutoenda Nairobi kumekuathiri namna gani?
Mimi naitwa Ben Alando. Nilikuja hapa siku ya Sunday na leo ndio nilikuwa nirudi. So tangazo lilipotolewa jana tulistuka kwa sababu kwangu ni Thika. Mimi ni mkaji wa Thika, si wa Eldoret. So nashangaa hii maisha tutaishi kwa gari hizo siku 21, na mimi na familia ambayo wanakaa pande wa Thika. Hata saa hizi venye tunazungumza hivi sijalipa nyumba miezi 2 kulingana na jinsi ambavyo ugonjwa ulitokea. Kila kitu ilikathiri, biashara ikaenda chini. Hata sisi madereva tunaumia kwa sababu pesa ile unapata ni ya mkono na kukula. Hakuna kitu kingine unaweza fanya nao, hata nyumba iweze lipa. So tumestuka kwa sababu familia watakaaje, na niko na watoto 3 watakaaje huko. Landlord wanataka pesa yao ya nyumba na hatujalipa. Na saa hizi hata anapiga simu anasema tutoe vitu kwa nyumba. Tunashangaa bibi akiwa na watoto atatoaje vitu kwa nyumba. So sisi kama madereva tunahangaika kwa sababu Eldoret si kwetu. Huku ni kuja, tumekuja na tulikuwa turudi Nairobi. So hiyo jambo imetupatia mshtuko kwa sababu tutafanya nini?
Okay. Thank you. Zinzi, let me also talk to one of the people who operates in this particular stage. Mmeathirika kivipi kutokana na pengine kupigwa marufuku kwa kutokwenda Nairobi? Tunaona biashara yenu ikoje kwa sasa?
Kwa kweli biashara imeshaharibika kabisa. Kama sisi wafanyikazi wa biashara ya matatu, kazi yetu imekuwa ngumu. Kwa mfano sasa sisi tumeshindwa, kwanza kitu ya kwanza sasa kwa kulipa municipality hapa ni shilingi 2700, na ili hali tumeuliza county council kama anaweza kutukatia kama sisi wafanya biashara tuweze kulipa nusu ya zile pesa tunalipia magari zetu, ili hali tumeshapeleka malalamishi yetu na hajatueleza kitu chochote. Ya pili, sisi kama wanabiashara hapa hivi kazi yetu ya kwenda Nairobi imeshafungwa. Sasa watu wote tuko lockdown, tumekaa kando, hatushindwe ya kukula ya kuvaa. Ile hali sisi tunaomba Maulana atusaidie ugonjwa iweze kuisha, ile ndio tuweze atisi kujisaidia kwa maisha yetu.
Thank you. Thank you. Zinzi, as I've heard from them, clearly you can see most of people are stranded, and those who are supposed to travel, like that driver who lives in Thika, he's saying now he'll be forced to stay or to live inside the car, and his boss wants the car to be taken to Nairobi. He cannot do that. His family needs him. He cannot do that. But all this, Zinzi, away from this ban from going to Nairobi, I can clearly tell you residents from here in Uasin Gishu County also are really closely observing those guidelines given by the CS for Health on putting on masks, especially border riders. They are really following up that particular directives, and several people are now wondering what kind of masks are the good ones they are supposed to be wearing, because each and every person now is just making a mask from maybe a handkerchief or something, just for the sake of preventing the mouth and the nose. So they are asking the government also maybe to bring masks as quickly as possible so that they can know what kind and particular of masks they need. But Zinzi, business is not as usual. Business has come to a standstill in Eldoret. As you know, as I had told you earlier, Nairobi is the heartbeat of this particular nation, and not only this particular nation, but the entire Central and East Africa. Zinzi.
All right, thank you, John. That's John Wanyama then Eldoret giving us a brief on how Eldoret residents are feeling and complying with the directives. We'll be still taking you to other parts of the country, but first, following the government directive for a cessation of movement of people in 3 coastal counties to curb the spread of coronavirus pandemic, residents of Kwale County say that 67% of her residents will be facing starvation during the 21-day cessation. And according to the county boss, the county needs over 450 million Kenyan shillings to supply the most vulnerable families in the county. Nikki Gitonga later will be joining us with more details. Just remember as well, Kwale is one of the counties that didn't have water since the beginning of Feb. We'll be crossing over to speak to Nikki in just a little bit. But right now, let me take you to a different part of the country. Nakuru government last night fumigated all 3 bus terminals in NAIVASHA, and today it will turn to public markets in a bid to contain the spread of COVID-19, which has already killed hundreds globally. With the number of those testing positive in the country on the rise, the county stepped up its fumigation exercise as part of mitigation measures against the pandemic. And according to the chief officer in charge of medical services, Dr. Solomon Simram, the fumigation exercise will continue in high-end populations as well.
We're concentrating in areas where there is the highest population during the day, where a place it's always congested. So the chances of somebody who might have contracted the COVID might have passed here, because most of these people are long distance travelers. They travel a lot. That's why we've targeted the stages.
Huzuni ambaye tulikuwa naye imetutoka kwa sababu kabisa tunaona uponyaji umeingia. So this time naona tuko vizuri sana. Yale machache ambaye amebakia hata tumeambia chief na amechukua jukumu hapo ya kutuletea tanks katika stages hizi zetu ndani, hapa ndani na nje, so that watu wawe sasa wamejikinga vizuri.
All right, so that's Nakuru. Let's take you back to Kwale, where residents of Kwale County, 67% of them say that they'll be facing starvation during the 21 days cessation. Right now, we want to join Nikki Gitonga. He's our correspondent in Kwale. Nikki, it's great to see the fact that Kwale County, just from the month of Feb, had no water. What is the mood like in Kwale, and what is the Kwale County government planning to do when it comes to the food distribution, given the 21 days lockdown that we were seeing?
Thank you, Zinzi. The situation in Kwale is not good. We know that in Kwale County, the main source of income or the economic activity here is the tourism sector, with the pandemic that has adversely affected the Kwale resident, where most of the hotels have so far been closed, meaning that the locals might go without food in the coming few days. And with the recent, yesterday's announcement that was made by President Uhuru Kenyatta, that there'll be a cessation of movement of people will not be allowed in and out of the counties. Now the county boss has indicated that so far over 116,000 households, translating to about 500,000 people, will be affected when it comes to the food supply. And that's why the county government is saying that they need about 415 million Kenyan shilling to ensure that they supply enough food to the most vulnerable families in the county. And so far the county has been able to raise about 200 million Kenyan shilling. They have about a deficit of 250 million Kenyan shilling, calling upon the well-wishers to come in to help those families that will be affected during this period of 21-day cessation. And this is what the county boss, Salim Mvurya, and the county commissioner, Karuku Ngumo, they had to say.
Misaada hii itakuwa ni misaada ya chakula na ndio maana nataka kuchukua nafasi hii kuweza kueleza wahisani na wale washirika wetu kwamba tuna food appeal kwa sababu tuna 67% ya wananchi kufikia sasa ambayo maisha yao yataathirika kutokana na virusi vya corona, na tumetathmini inaweza kuwa na gharama ya milioni 450.
Tumetoa mashauri ya kwamba mwenye bodaboda asibebe zaidi ya abiria moja na wote watumie barakoa, yani mask. Kidogo hiyo tumeangazia tukaona haifanyiki, na kuanzia saa hii tunaenda katika kuhakikisha kwamba hiyo inafanyika.
Tumeona watu wameanza kutembea kupeleka pombe yao nyumbani, waenda wakausie nyumbani. Hiyo hatutaweza kukubali. Tutatembea katika ile vijiji na tuone ya kwamba hizo vitu asifanyiki.
Well, those are sentiments from the 3 county bosses led by Salim Mvurya. Furthermore, they have urged the locals in the county to go to the chiefs, village administrators, just to register themselves as vulnerable families, so that the process of giving them food during these 21 days of cessation to start immediately. That's what they hate to say, and even they have cautioned all the boda tuk-tuk operators to ensure that they heed into the government directive of putting on face masks just to try to contain the coronavirus, where Kwale County has been identified as one of the high-risk counties, with 14% of all the 3 counties they have been indicated as those counties that coronavirus has affected them. That's all I have for now. Back to you in studio.
All right, thank you, Nikki. I'm pretty sure for the past 48 hours you've woken up to a bit of rain, right? So as many areas in western part of Kenya continue receiving heavy rains, floods have been experienced in Siaya, forcing many to migrate to higher ground. The floods have not only forced people out of their homes, but also destroyed crops planted during this season. Kasim Dinasi has more details.
That has been experienced on the western side of the country has led to many areas becoming flooded. This has not only displaced people from their habitats, but has also destroyed a number of crops that have been planted this season. The areas that are hugely affected are areas that are found on the lower coast of River Nzoia.
All are aware the county is experiencing heavy rainfall. Yesterday morning, I received reports that River Nzoia and Mulambo Dam have broken their banks, thereby flooding Mudondo area and Mahawa scheme in Fuyo sub-location. While this situation comes at a difficult time when we are dealing with the matter of COVID-19, we still have a responsibility to ensure that all residents are safe.
The destruction of the crops that have been planted this season is an indication that in future, if nothing is done, then there may be a problem with the shortage of food.
Tayari serikali kuu imeleta chakula kidogo kwa wale ambao wameathirika upande wa Ugenya na pia upande wa Bondo kule mahali ambapo panaitwa Got Agulu. Tumewapatia chakula kidogo, lakini bado tunatarajia kupata zawadi ya chakula kutoka serikali kuu.
The county task force that is led by the Siaya County Governor Conrad Rasanga and the County Commissioner Michael Oletialal have acted by providing foodstuff as well as necessary materials. However, they say much is supposed to be done as there are many challenges that the victims of floods are facing at various areas where they are sheltered.
Wanahitaji mablanketi, wanahitaji neti za kujizuia na mosquitoes na vitu vingi. Lakini tunasema kwamba
ule ukarimu wetu pia uendelee.
The increased rainfall that is witnessed in the country is attributed to the changing climate that has also seen the drastic rise of the levels of Lake Victoria, which has also destroyed a number of property along the shores of the lake. Reporting from Alego Usonga in Siaya County, my name is Kasi Madinasi. Back to you, studio.
All right, let's now take you outside of the African continent, where Prime Minister Boris Johnson was yesterday evening moved to intensive care in a hospital after his coronavirus symptoms worsened. A report from his spokesman stated that he was moved following advice from his medical team, who say he is receiving great care. The Prime Minister was admitted to a hospital in London with persistent symptoms on Sunday evening. Now let's take you to Mombasa, where Governor Hassan Joho, together with businessman and politician Suleiman Shabal, have launched a sensitizing spray booth where ferry users pass through and are sprayed with a disinfecting solution before being allowed to board the ferry. Now, the booth that was donated jointly by Suleiman Shabal Foundation and the Hassan Joho Foundation, the booth can disinfect close to 12 people in 1 minute, and plans are underway to also procure bigger booths which can disinfect about 500 people in 1 minute.
Tunajua watu wa Likoni wengi ni maskini, wengi wako katika hali ya jua kali, na wengi wana matatizo mengi kwa sababu ajira zao it is across the ferry.
Na kwa sasa watu 12 wanaweza kupita hapa kwa kila dakika. Tukileta ile protocol ya sawa watu 500 watapita kila dakika 10.
The county government felt that it was necessary to be able, even for purposes of statistics, to be able to install an equipment that will tell us temperature ya watu na kuangalia the basics, that anybody that crosses the ferry tunaweza kuangalia sura yake, capture it on our CCTV that will be able to read temperature.
All right, remember Mombasa is one of the counties, one of the hotspot counties. Now, the government yesterday restricted movement in and out of the 4 counties, this being Nairobi, Mombasa, Kilifi and Kwale, as one of the measures in curbing the spread of coronavirus. Residents of Nairobi County and its environs, or Nairobi Metropolitan, will not be allowed in and out to other counties, with the capital city leading in confirmed COVID-19 infections so far. The restricted movement in the coastal strip kicks off on Wednesday night. Following the directive, the Matatu industry has been affected greatly, and operators in other counties will not be able to ferry passengers to the restricted areas. Right now, Martin Munene is joining us from Nyeri. Martin, it's good to see you this morning. What is the mood like in Nyeri with this new directive?
All right, a very good morning to you from Nyeri County. We are at the main bus park in Nyeri County that ferries people or passengers from Nyeri to Nairobi, or from Nairobi back to Nyeri. And what is happening here this morning is that I've been going around, and the only things or banners I can see on top of Matatus are for the local distances or the local destinations. For example, you can see there, this one is a Matatu that normally goes to Nairobi. Now it's going to Othaya. But I want to show you the picture of where people normally come and book transport or book opportunities for themselves to be able to travel to Nairobi and from Nairobi. This is a very different situation. For example, there's this Matatu that is parked here. Ordinarily, people who are traveling from Nyeri to Nairobi, this is the place they come. This is where they board their Matatus. But this is different. As you can see, this Matatu is parked, and I was looking at it. It has a banner on the windshield, as you can see, that reads private, meaning that this Matatu is not in operation right now. The Matatus have been grounded. I also want to show you the booking office of this particular SACCO. This is a SACCO that sends to Nairobi over 60 vehicles in a day, but now none of them is operational. As you can see, the booking office is closed. But besides that, I also want to show you something else. If you can look here, you'll see their boards. This These are normally boards that or banners that are mounted on top of matatus as they wait to ferry passengers, so that a passenger can know if, for example, they want to travel to Nairobi, then where they can. This is the regular matatu. This other one here is a shuttle banner, and all of them are grounded there, as you can see, because there is no movement whatsoever. What is happening here in Nyeri is that there's no movement, and besides that, remember, there are people who depend on commodities that come from Nairobi to Nyeri every single day. Now these ones will have to find an alternative route, an alternative way, or they'll have to close their businesses. But for now, this is how things are. The only transport that is taking place is from Nyeri to towns around Nyeri and not anywhere near Nairobi. Back to in studio Zinzi from Nyeri County, I'm Martin Monene.
All right, asante sana. That's Martin, who is giving us an update of how things are in Nyeri. We need to close off, but before we do that, let me remind you of the numbers very quickly, global numbers, that is. So coronavirus cases globally stands at about 1.3. The deaths now stand at 74,702. But then again, I'll continue to emphasize to you our ray of hope right there. The numbers continue to increase as well. Recovered cases stand at 278,698. Now, here's the thing as well. Here in Nairobi, President Uhuru Kenyatta, or should I say here in Kenya, President Uhuru Kenyatta has decided to give a partial lockdown for about 21 days. There will be no movement in and out of the capital city. But also for Kilifi, Mombasa, Kwale, that directive will begin tomorrow, Wednesday at 7 p.m. On top of that, President Uhuru Kenyatta has ordered 2 billion Kenyan shillings from the corruption cases. Yep, that to be used in COVID-19. That's your update for this morning. My name is Zinzi Kibiku. Samana Citizen is up next. Bye-bye.